Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a brand new old school album review, I should say. Today we're going to be looking in, I did like one yesterday of Heartwork by Carcass. Today we're going to be looking into another one of my personal favorite albums from an old school album review that we're going to talk about since this album's 25 years old. Well, today, as you can see by the title, today we're going to be looking into Chaos AD by Sepultura. This is the band's fifth album released on October 19th, 1993 through Roadrunner Records. Now, few albums have polarized the masses quite like Chaos AD, but I really have to admit, after careful consideration, I honestly, for the longest time, I thought the album after this, being 1996 Roots, was my favorite. This has to be my favorite release from this band. Why, do you may ask? I feel like with their previous albums being like Beneath the Remains or Arise and stuff, they kind of like go with more of a death thrash hybrid. But I feel like with Chaos AD, they sort of like shift to a new style, kind of like groove metal elements. And I honestly think Chaos AD is probably the most mosh-worthy album in the history of metal. So almost every track on here is laden with sort of like brutal yet simple pit grooves that are nearly irresistible. And honestly, Sepultura just writes these things like in there. And the production, produced by Andy Wallace, this is just, the mix on this album is just perfect. Like, everything is where it needs to be. The guitar tone from Max Cavalera and Andreas Kisser is just superb. Like, the guitar tone is perfect. Bass playing from Paulo is good. And drumming wise, I think Igor Cavalera's drumming on this album is pretty much probably his best yet. It's just like, damn, one of the best drummers I've heard. I honestly feel like that's him in his prime. Yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this track by track. The album opens up with Refuse Resist, which is a powerful groove and delivers some nice drum work in there. And just before the infamous line, Chaos AD, tanks on the streets, confronting police, bleeding the plebs, is delivered just as angry as any hardcore band. It's a great way to start off this album, sort of like with the tribal drums and sort of like political related lyrics and stuff. Great way to kick this album out with a bang. The territory, it strives off of like simplistic stick grooves and crazy breakdowns. I really love like the tribal drumming that is done on this track in particular is just superb. Slave New World is a thrasher bleh, or probably like sort of like a step back to like something from like Beneath the Remains and Rise is just perfect. Amen has a perfect yet simple verse riff, dispersed with some like slower kind of like drum fills, and it's sort of like a doomier guitar breaks. Then we go into Chaos, which is sort of like a folk acoustic piece, yet it feels like it fits in there really good. Propaganda starts off with a haunting ringing guitars before pulverizing your face again with sort of like a simple riff, which seems like it's just a variation of others on this album, but this is like the forte of Chaos AD, is it basically do like the same style of riffs like over and over, having you love them every time. The power of cohesion and continuity reigns. But Biotech is Godzilla, which is a decent faster track. It's like less than 2 minutes long, but it's not one of my favorites on here. I just feel like the name of the song is just ridiculous, and just like them saying Godzilla, it just sounds kind of silly to me. I don't know. It's whatever. And Nomad sort of begins with another ringing mid-range guitar, almost siren light, before sort of like a drum fill leads into like another neck-breaking groove. We Are Not As Others. Hers is a very progressive like track with some very good acoustic fills, bluesy wails and gang shouts, very effective. Manifest is sort of like a brutal tribute to violence of prison population purges. Then we go into the next song on here, which is called The Hunt, which is actually a cover song originally done by New Model Army, which I've never even heard the original, and I honestly think that they did an excellent job with this tune, sounding very much like their own. And then ending the album is the song Clenched Fist, which ends it with sort of like another sick and grooving verse. And overall, Chaos AD by Sepultura, just this album has insanely good mix. like everything is loud and clear. The guitarist is punishing. The vocals sound pissed from Max Cavalera, and the tribal fills infections are, and the percussion are very evident, and the bass sort of like runs thick on here. I just crank the fuck out of this album. So if I were to give this a score, I'm probably going to give this probably a solid 9.5 out of 10. So that's my review of Chaos AD, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.